Stevie. It is Motivation Monday, April 18th, and welcome to an all new episode. We are here, my very special guest. Before I introduce him, I want to give him his flowers before we start off. I had a guest on the show last week, Rico Cassadine, and we were talking about intersectionality and how important it was for us in these spaces, being black, being liberated, being queer, whatever it may be. Whatever you identify as, we are making sure that we touch every corner. And my very special guest today has done just that. So let's go on ahead and start this introduction. I wanted to give you your flowers, and we're going to do more because I always believe in giving us their flowers here on my platform.
Well, that's
My
so
very
kind.
special, yes, my love, it is such a pleasure to have you here. My very special guest today graduated from Fayetteville State University.
Wow, go
Not
Five.
far from me because I have family in North Carolina. My cousin is there and she is called at my talk show. Hi, Chef Sky. Welcome. Happy Monday. I
Hi,
hope
Chef.
all is well. And you were also featured ensemble cast for Tina, the Tina Turner musical. You played Ike Turner, and we will dive into that later in the show. But I like to start at the beginning of your journey. My love, I want to say to you and my guest that I had on the show last week, Rico Cassadine,
Hmm.
thank you for being able to touch this that some of us in our community are not able to touch. And this is where intersectionality comes in. You're being able to merge both worlds, hetero and queer. And we are seen in spaces. The entire collective is seeing
Hmm.
us because of this.
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
is what we have in common. But our styles and our talent, everything else is just completely different. But thank you, my love, for being able to bridge that gap and create what I like to call intersectionality. So if you guys watched my interview with Rico Cassadine last week, we touched on that, able to uh, touch all of the spaces so that nobody is left out. And you've done that, Deon. I'm so proud of you. And I'm so honored. Was nervous because I'm like, okay, how do you type this?
Nervous.
Because this man has a list of credits. I want to make sure that I get everything right. And so far, so good. You have done it all. You've danced, you've modeled, you've acted, you performed, you've done it all. So we're going to get into that. But let's start at the beginning of your journey.
Hmm.
Growing up, who was it for you that you saw on television? Because I know for me, growing up in South Carolina. That's how I formed the connection with you. When you said you
Hmm.
graduated from Fayetteville, North Carolina, that Carolina
Hmm.
connection, that Southern hospitality, shall I? But for me growing up, the people that I saw on television that looked like me, I would say, and she was the first in the arena. I would say for her it was, you guys know, you've seen her story, Tracy Norman Africa. She was the
Hmm.
first. She was the first black trans woman on the Clairol hair color box, and something happened,
Hmm.
unfortunately, that messed up her career. And it just goes to show you how far we have come from then to now, where people are becoming more educated, people are becoming more aware. But for you, I know who was it for you that you saw on television? And I think I kind of got a wild idea who you're going to say that has inspired you
Okay.
going. You dance, you perform. I kind of got an idea, but I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna let Dion say it. So who was it for
Wait,
you?
no, no, no. Wait, I'm curious. Like, who do you think it is?
Michael Jackson.
Oh, interesting. No, it's not Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson played a really big part of my childhood because my
Yeah.
cousin Gerald, who I grew up with here and there, was really, really into him. But no, for me, I am a millennial. I grew up in like on the younger side of the millennials. So I grew up in the age of Nickelodeon and like the Disney Channel when they were having their original movies and series.
Yes.
So Raven Simone, That's a Raven, was a really big inspiration for me when it comes to comedy because she just did so much. And it's so funny that in her later years, she's now come out as this queer woman because I always felt like a very strong connection to her. Columbus Short was another one that I grew up watching
Oh,
on like in
okay.
movies. And I don't think I look like Columbus Short, but I've gotten that before. So he's somebody that I definitely looks up to. Um, this is post pre controversy. Who else? Oh, also Whoopi Goldberg is a huge inspiration to me. She is my Beyonce. She's my queen. She's the person that like I want to emulate my entire career after. One, black women have play a very big major role in my life, but specifically Whoopi Goldberg is so transformative in the way that she shows up in her work. This is a dark skinned woman with no eyebrows and locks, and she's been everything from the villain to the love interest to the sex symbol to like the quirky like weird person to the stand-up comedian to like the one woman show on Broadway, which completely changed my life. I saw that in college. To The Color Purple, to The View, like she's done it all. And yeah, as somebody that grew up with my hands in kind of everything and have constantly having people tell me that I need to choose, looking up to people like Raven Simone, like Columbus Short, like Whoopi Goldberg, really fed me and helped me figure out my way.
Absolutely. And not only that, but you talk about accolades. You graduated and earned a degree, and I'm looking at my in classical
Hmm.
theater and concert dance. So did
Yeah.
Whoopi. She's a lot of these
Hmm.
stars that you name it. Well, Raven has been right in front of us since the Cosby Show. So she was little Olivia
Yeah.
on the Cosby
Yeah.
Show. And I had the pleasure of sitting down with Jeffrey Owen, and he said that everything that you saw on the Cosby Show with her, it
Hmm.
manifested right before our very eyes in real
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
And look at her now. I mean, she's multi hyphenate, just like
She's an
yourself. You're
icon. She's an
yes,
icon.
and you're not one who wears just one hat, and so does she. She doesn't just wear one hat. She's like, okay, let me tap into my producing bag. Let me tap into
Hmm.
my writing bag, and that is something that you have done as well too. As a creator,
Hmm.
we have to make sure that we are touching every space and that we are
Hmm.
included. Our girl Hope Giselle, and I've had Hope Giselle on the show here, and
Wow.
conversation with her about inclusivity and how important it is. I'm gonna send that interview. I'm gonna send you both, Jeffrey and Hope. I've have had them on. Hope is
Hmm.
on tour right now for her documentary, Not Your Average Girl. Make sure y'all go and support my girl. Go and check her out. And she is looking fierce, honey. So y'all make sure y'all I need to figure out who made the dress that she wore. She just did an interview with Gay Magazine, but that's another thing for another day. Y'all know I'm a fashion girl, but I'm gonna have to DM her and find out things who made that dress. Cause I might wanna get into it. But like I was saying, we were talking about, not just staying in one. You have been able to do it all from theater to television to commercial. You've done everything, and so has Raven. What she does is she doesn't just, and I use this analogy all the time. This artist right here, he's no longer with us, but Prince. Prince did not believe in
Hmm.
putting himself in a category or a box. He was like, no, no,
Yeah, for sure.
everything. I'm going to do everything. And so has Raven. Raven has done just that. And so have you, Dion. So I want to continue to keep giving
Thank
you your
you.
flowers for that because it's very few and in between we see our spaces. Whereas now
Hmm.
it's an array of us. I mean, you've got your Billy Porters, your Hope Giselles, you've got your Dion
Yeah.
Releford-Lees.
Yeah,
It's
there's an
like,
array of us, but like the level that we're able to climb to isn't always accessible because there is such an oversaturation. And it's interesting. I feel like the industry is shifting because we've gone
oh yeah,
from really like looking at these artists and these specifically in the acting realm, like, oh, this artist can transform into this, and it's become, well, this person looks like they can do that, so we should just go with this person versus the one that might be the most qualified to tell the story. So the fact that like we've been able to infiltrate the space with all of our identities and not only while while staying truly authentic to ourselves and transforming is incredible. I feel like that's few and far between. Hopefully, with people like Coleman Domingo at
Oh
the
yeah,
top of his game, we will see more artists get the opportunity to transform instead of just looking at them for face value and being like, oh, let's plug them into this space. And part of me understands that because it's kind of the atmosphere that we're in, given social media and like the technological boom, and the age of the influencer. Like it's become about relatability than artistry and transformation.
absolutely. And if you
Yeah.
guys, in case you guys missed it, Coleman did SNL. He's also Joe Jackson in the new Michael film, which drops in theaters April
Hmm.
24th. I have been watching all of the interviews. Y'all know me some Nia Long. I have almost every hairstyle magazine with her in it.
I know that's
Every
right.
I've got the box of Dark and Lovely with as well too. My dream would be for her to autograph it one day, if I could. Yes, she was on the box of Dark and Lovely. For those of you who don't know, they chose her
Hmm.
spokeswoman for it. It was her and it was Mary J. Blige. And I don't know if she remembers. Now she's the face of Estee Lauder. But that's another thing. But that's beauty. But Coleman, and I'm pretty sure you guys, my one of my guests that I had on, a colleague of mine, he sent me a clip of Coleman on Saturday Night Live and the Style by Stevie. Wait a minute, he was doing a skit and it was talking about fashion, and
Hmm.
he's like, "Wait a minute, I'm not mainstream though. I'm independent. I'm not out there. Deon is. He's able to touch all of those spaces.
Oh my
I'm not out there."
goodness.
But he said, "Oh, you made it when your name is mentioned on SNL." I said he was talking about Stevie Wonder, but talking about me. So shout outs to Faith is the Substance. Y'all make sure y'all go and check her out.
Hi,
We are
Faith.
y'all make sure y'all I did an interview with her and y'all amazing spirit, amazing woman, and so supportive and sweet. As Sade would say, sweet as cherry pie. So y'all make sure and subscribe to my girls channel. We are here with Deon Releford-Lee and we are talking about merging the intersection and intersectionality and what it looks like for us as creators, performers. Now, a little bit about your backstory. In North Carolina, you were also a teaching artist, choreographer. So, what was it like
Mhm.
making that shift from North Carolina all the way to Broadway? Tina, the musical.
Oh my gosh, that's so much time. Okay, well, I started, as you mentioned, I started in concert dance and classical theater, and but before that, I started in biomedical research because my whole life, all I ever really wanted to be was a zoologist, specifically working on sea turtle conservation on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So my first job was in biomedical research. I was like a lab tech, kind of helping the senior researchers do their thing. And because I went to an early college high school on Fayetteville State's campus called Cross Creek Early College, I was able to graduate high school with the equivalent of a associate's degree. And that kind of just opened up the realm of possibilities of me going in and being like, okay, I've always had this artist side of me that I wanted to fulfill, and I have the science. So because already have the equivalent of an associate's, I can double major and still finish in 4 years. Um, and then I started dancing, and like my life kind of changed. And then the scientists didn't understand why I needed to do multiple things, or scientists, I'm going to speak generally and maybe a little biasly, but scientists tend to be a little one track minded. So it was interesting for everyone in the theater and the dance department to be like, yes, Dion, like get your degree in science, please. I think they know how difficult it is to be an artist, a full-time artist
Yes.
nowadays. So they were just kind of pushing me in to do that. But anyway, the way the cards fell, I ended up dropping my science major and just focusing on art, and finished in 3 years. That last year, I just stayed an extra year to get some more training because I felt like I wasn't ready to work professionally. And literally, I graduated and went to my first rehearsal. And I think I fell into choreography because of my concert dance background and teaching, because the jobs weren't always, I needed something to do in between my jobs when I was in North Carolina. And then I moved to New York in 2018 because I felt like I had reached a point in North Carolina where I could, I saved enough money, I could maybe get an apartment, but I knew I wanted more. So I decided to take my little bit of monies and all of my stuff and move to New York in May. And by August, I was on tour with Beautiful, the Carole King musical.
Yes.
I did that for 10 months as a drifter. It was incredible. I got to see parts of the world I never, parts of the country that I never got to see before, um, which is really cool. I fell in love on that tour. I fell out of love on that tour. And I got my equity card, I was introduced to a new level of my career, which was very fulfilling because that was the whole reason I moved to New York. And then 2020 happened, and it was I started that tour in August of 2018 until September or August of 2019, and then 2020 happened, and I was dating someone at the time, so I went to Vancouver and got stuck there because the border closed. It was
Canada.
deep. Yeah, it was so
Yes.
much. It was so much, but yeah. And then after that, I I had a really hard time finding work. I think everybody did just because the industry completely disappeared. But also, I had just moved to the city and I moved to the city and everything shut down. So I didn't really have much to go on. People didn't really know who I was. So by the time I booked Tina on Broadway in 2021 into 2022, it was literally a godsend. I remember being in my apartment and talking to my agent on the phone, and she said, you're going to make your Broadway debut. I fell to my knees and sobbed because 2 or 3 days before that, I was talking to my mom. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I can't. I have to like move out. I have to go home. New York is expensive. So yeah, I guess in short, that's my journey from North Carolina, my humble beginnings to Broadway in 2022. And the show, I was a COVID hire, and Broadway was just kind of opening back up at that time.
Yes.
So that was a really interesting experience, and kind of its own thing. So when I talk to other Broadway vets who are now my friends, they talk about like what Broadway was before COVID and how you could visit people in their dressing rooms and like the community was a lot tighter and now we had to social distance from each other. So I don't
Guidelines.
know.
Yes.
It was a really interesting experience in time, but I was really grateful. Another, I think, interesting thing to note that I want to say in this interview is that Broadway was never the dream for me. I didn't dream about being on Broadway. If anything, I didn't think there was space for me. I am a black queer person that is a little offbeat, I guess, and I didn't think there was room or space for me. So when it happened, I was grateful, one, for the money, okay, and grateful for the stepping pedestal is what I called it. I knew that that was going to position me to get more attention, to get greater work, and to actually achieve the things that I dream about, right? So yeah.
And look at you now. You said you didn't imagine that. To see you as Ike Turner and you post on the gram of
Hmm.
the name on the door and everything, this is coming to full circle. And this is after,
Hmm.
we're just coming high of the pandemic because you got that Tina in 2022,
Hmm.
2020. It was difficult. So to piggyback off of what you just said, everything being shut down, a lot of actors that were on Broadway that were on. I remember, I think it was Terry Crews or no, it was Cedric the Entertainer, Tashina Arnold when they did the show The Neighborhood, and they were
Hmm.
posting pictures on set what it was like. Everybody had to social distance, guidelines. But now the world is back open. So it's basically having to regroup and look at you now. When I seen the photo of you in full gear as Mike Turner, it was
Hmm.
the same with Coleman Joe Jackson. It's just like,
Mm.
whoa. Like I literally had to do a side by side
Oh,
comparison.
that's
This
very kind.
y'all's
Thank
photo.
you.
You brought it to life.
uh,
And not only just that, But this tour was around the country. This was around the
Hmm.
country. This Tina, the Tina Turner musical, as well as
Hmm.
the Carole King, beautiful Carole King musical, that both were around the country. So at this point in your life, landing that role as Ike Turner, what what's running through your mind as you're sitting in your dressing room? Because you got to have a moment where, ooh, this can't be real. Like, am I really here? Like, my God.
Oh, can I be very honest with you? I was like, no, this feels correct. I need to be here. Because like if I'm being honest, when I was hired on Broadway, I was not Ike Turner full time. I was understudying every black character that I possibly could.
Yes, you did
And
five,
then
if I'm not
mhm,
mistaken.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. Literally every role a black man could play in the show, I have played every single last one of them. So by the time the show closed, and I had only played Ike in that 8 month run that I was on Broadway twice. So when I got the opportunity to play Ike full time, um, I was like, well, finally, now I get to really tell the story. And I think this harkens back to what I was mentioning earlier, how like now it's not necessarily about this actor transforming into this role. It's about like this person looks like they can do that and they fit this, so let's just hire them instead of seeing like the work that they can produce, right? So yeah, I was sitting in my dressing room, partly like, yes, this feels correct, but also just wanting more for my people and more for my cast and more for my community. Corporate theater is just as insidious and corporate as working in an office. It was interesting being a part of a traditionally black show and have all of these white producers try to um, uh, I don't know, figure
Diminish,
out
is that
how
the word you're looking for? Or figure out how to
nah, just like
incorporate?
figure out how to tell a black story instead of trusting and listening to the black bodies that are on stage 8 times a
Yeah.
week telling that story, right? So I also uh, my mentor gets on me a lot about trying to be an advocate and be an actor because his belief is that you can't do both at the same time. If you want to do work in advocacy, you have to be on the other side of the table just because of the way that the hierarchy in theater specifically works. But I didn't necessarily listen to that. I just kind of made a fuss when I wanted to.
That's
And
why I made that face, because I was
yeah.
my thing. And y'all know I love Deon says he's a millennial. I'm a millennial too. I'm 32, but I know about this woman right here because my grew me up on her music. Of course, I grew. My father put me on. Y'all know I'm a big. Hence the gown I'm wearing today, which is a clue. Diana Ross. I love Diana Ross.
Show
I love.
us, show us, show
Yes.
us.
Um, Nina Simone. It was Nina Simone, and she has
Mhm.
a quote that goes like this. She says, "The job of the artist is to reflect the times." So yes, you can be an advocate, and you can be an artist at the same time. They both
Yes,
go
but you
hand.
also have to be mindful. But you also have to be mindful that
Yes.
there are opportunities that you won't get because you don't care about being adjacent to whiteness. You
Oh
don't
yeah.
care about the politeness politics. Like these are
Respectability.
things, yeah, these are things that you miss out on. Even working with your own people, these are things that you miss out on because miss out, right? Because you are unwilling to acquiesce to the forces that be. And I think a lot of while I had a really good time touring the country, I had a really good time transforming into this person that I'm not. I got to channel a lot of and process a lot of like anger and like internalized homophobia through Ike because he is such a violent being while also trying to like humanize somebody that doesn't feel human because of the atrocities that like the work of that was amazing, but the politics of being at the top of the call sheet while also trying to tell the story and not feeling supported and uh, feel the producers and people try to water down like this real human's experience was very eye-opening and interesting, which is what pushed me into producing my own work. because I wanted to be in charge of creating the atmosphere and providing actors with an environment to authentically tell a story and do their work, have their process, and have them feel supported and comfortable.
Absolutely. And we have to continue to do. There's so many of us out here who have platforms and spaces, and you have Free Black Millennials, which we'll talk about, which is your
Hmm.
podcast. But
Hmm.
I want to piggyback off of what you just said, which is, you know, I don't want to humanize this person. This person has done things to harm people. So I know a lot of actors take away from this, which is separate themselves away from the character sometimes. And I use this reference all the time with any actor that I sit down with. And that is Heath Ledger when he played the Joker. Like he really went there. He all the way. You have to learn how to, and I even Lupita, she said it when she did. How many of y'all seen Us, which was a Jordan
Hmm.
Peele film? She said she literally had to detox herself after getting into this character because this character was so evil, and you would have never expected to see her portray such an evil, dangerous character, but that
Hmm.
she did. She said she literally had to detox. So that was going to be my question for you, playing Ike Turner, because my God, it's scary. It's like I'm looking at him. You look so much like him,
Oh my
but
goodness.
and I'm pretty sure you got that as well too. Even when you were in Gear, it's like no, no, I'm I'm Deon now. I'm no longer the character. What did people say to you
Yeah.
after
It's
watching it?
so,
Because
yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, 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 it's okay. I was gonna say it's so funny because I actually don't feel like I'm anything like Ike Turner
Oh,
in my
relax.
presentation, but it's really funny because I would walk out of the stage door and people wouldn't really know who I was because I present so differently than I did in that show. But yeah, like as far as like detoxing the character and letting some things go, I think that is the big difference between film and theater, right? Like in theater, you're doing it 8 times a week. You're doing the same thing over and over again, and you build ritual with people, right? So when I'm going into an emotional scene, my dresser, I might have a moment with him where like I touch his shoulder as he's like pinning my wig on, or I might like high five someone on my way off stage. And those rituals kind
Yeah,
of take you in and out. So at the end of the day, after months of doing the same thing, it doesn't feel so oppressive because I have these things to kind of ground me and to pull me back into my own reality. Versus
absolutely.
when you're on set, you have to. I don't know if you've seen the behind the scenes footage of Lupita, but when she was getting directed in between takes, she would stay in character so she didn't lose that. And that's something that, as theater actors, you don't necessarily have to do because it is so in and out. And everybody works differently, right? Like there are techniques. Like if Heath Ledger was a method actor, and I think he took that
Mm,
technique to an extreme, which is how I think we ultimately lost a great actor. But then you have what's his name? Um, Really old. He played Magneto in X Men. What is his name? Uh, Sir Patrick? I can't remember. But my point is, he said something along the lines of, I don't understand these method actors. Why can't we just pretend? Right. So I think he works in a very similar way that, like, I
yeah,
do I did as Ike, right? Like, I had an in and I had an out, and I just pretended to be these things. And also, like, I think a really interesting thing about process is I had a mentor, a director, tell me once that one of the beautiful things about what we do is the fact that we have access to the entire human experience from giving a life to taking it. So even
yes.
though I felt so very far away from Ike, I knew that I could humanize him because everything that was in him is also in me. Would I do those things in real life? No, because our life circumstances were different. But I'm not. It is not beyond the realm of possibility for me to access those parts of myself to authentically tell his story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And tell it, and if you guys seen the film, What's Love Got to Do with It? You've seen
Hmm.
everything she's endured, that she's been through, and may she rest in grace. She will always be one of the top female performing artist in music history ever. And they don't call her the queen of rock and roll for nothing. So to see you on the news paying homage to her, to see everybody still pay homage to her, and I would say she crawled so that we could have. Y'all know I love this woman down. Yes, I'm a part of the Beehive. I am a hottie. So I love Meg and I love B. I love Beyonce. She crawls literally. And then to see these two women perform on stage, Beyonce
Mhm.
said, "This is the woman who inspired me." So, you
Act
know,
3, baby. Yeah.
we're still waiting on it, B. We waiting on it,
Okay.
girl. You out here with sacred. You want us to have beautiful hair, and that's fine and dandy. Which reminds me, I need to go to Ulta because she's got the products. Again, beauty conversation. But
But if you really think about it, she's doing the sacred thing in these stylings, this styling line, so that we can grow our hair and headbang in the rock section of Act 3.
people have been asking me. They're like, Miss Stevie, because y'all know I'm a big. Y'all know I love Queen B. I know I love Beyonce. What is going to be Act Three? Okay, Act One. Act One was more so dance electronica.
Yeah,
Act
house,
Two, yes. Act Two,
country, Americana.
yeah. But she put her
Hmm.
own thing onto it. She said, "This is not a country album. This is a Beyonce album."
Yeah. Hmm.
And she
Hmm.
put her own spin onto it, and she incorporated a little bit of hip hop because you see the way she paid homage to Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton was on the song Tyrant with her. Miley Cyrus was on the album. I mean, you had so many collaborations on Act Two, which was Cowboy Carter. Act Three, and I think Candy Burris even said it. You guys know that she's doing, since Deon is on in Broadway, Joe Turner Come and Gone, which is Taraji P. Henson, Cedric the Entertainer. Uh,
Yeah.
Act
Directed
Three,
by Debbie Allen.
yes, and another another theater great.
Hmm.
So she's still out here doing it. But y'all are asking me to speculate something. I will say this because I'm not in Beyonce's personal team, y'all. But I'm
Yeah.
assuming someone was a colleague of mine who's went to one of her concerts said pay attention to her details. So when she drops a photo, like remember when Bad Bunny was performing at the Super Bowl, she put a picture up. Pay attention to clues and details of everything she does. Because remember when she came, she even announced that she was coming out with new music, which the first single was what? Break My Soul. She took everything down off of Instagram, page completely black. And RuPaul even said it. This was before we even found out that she collaborated with my girl T.S. Madison. So she took everything down. It's like, could it be Destiny's Child? We were all speculating. You don't know. But pay attention to her photos. That's what I will say. It's a
She
clear
coming.
she's coming with something. And then she
Hmm.
put like the puzzle pieces of the picture of her through the window. And then the single Break My Soul came out. And then it was released. Boom, I'm coming out with Renaissance. And then we see her on the horse. And then we just took it to a whole nother level. She gave us the tour. So Act Three, like Dion said, it could be rock and roll. But just pay attention to her details. Pay attention to
Hmm.
it. Stay tuned. That's all I'm gonna say. Because you never know with her. She just does it unexpectedly. She does one thing I will say about her, and it goes back to Tina Turner. Tina Turner has paved the way for so many female artists out here that we see today that are on stage dancing, that are on stage giving us everything Tina would have gave her. I remember because I had the pleasure, and I'm sharing this information with Dion. I don't know if he knows this, but I had the
Hmm.
pleasure of interviewing Wayne Scott Lucas, who
Oh,
dressed
cool.
Janet Jackson and
Hmm.
Tina Turner, and he bought the dress that she wore, the Versace dress, the silver dress with
Hmm.
the gold emblem. Is like a spaghetti strap thing.
Yeah.
Y'all know the dress, and she wore the black pumps. Yes, Wayne Scott Lucas styled that look. He's worked with Tina Turner. He's worked with Janet Jackson. The Vibe cover, Janet's Vibe cover, he did that. He did All for You. Uh, yeah, I had the pleasure of sitting down, and when Wayne pulled that dress out, Dion, my mouth was on the floor. I'm like,
I can imagine. What an
And then
honor.
supermodel Kari Young, who I've also interviewed, had on the same dress for a photo shoot and looked stunning. So y'all follow Kari Young on Instagram. Check out that dress. Yes, we're talking Tina Turner. So we're talking Tina, but yes, I wanted to share that with you. So I was like, should
Hmm.
I tell Dion? Should I tell him? I was like, but y'all seen that interview, and Wayne pulled it out. The dress was sparkly. I said, yes, this is something that she would wear. And he was
Hmm.
sharing stories with me of, how she wanted certain things to be and how she was particular, very particular about what she walked on stage
Yeah,
looking
she had a
like.
vision.
Yeah. And there are female artists who definitely studied Tina, and I would say Janet, I would say Beyonce, all of these female artists who we've watched dance their butts off, perform their butts off. And credits to the Tinashe as well too. So when I look at these girls that I just named, from Janet, B, Tinashe, dancing, performing, giving their all. Even on the hip hop side, you got Megan Thee Stallion. I mean, we've never seen female rappers dance and perform on stage. Hi, Naptown.
Hi,
Doing wonderful.
Naptown. Yeah.
We are here with the amazing Deon Releford-Lee, and we are just talking about Tina, the Tina Turner musical, and Tina Turner's impact on the next generation of
Yeah.
female
Her
artists that we
legacy.
see. Yeah, today, even from stylings, like it'll be certain things that Beyonce will put on that will be very reminiscent to Tina Turner. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
okay, she's giving a nod. And she does this in her shows. Like she will give nods to other artists. So y'all again, pay attention to details. Artists study artists. And you can even see it rubbing off on Blue Ivy. When Blue Ivy came out and she had her, if you've seen the Cowboy Carter tour, Blue did what needed to be done. So she studies her mother. So Beyonce better watch out, because pretty soon when she gets them vocals, you in trouble. You got a problem on your hands, because she studied her mother. And every artist out here studied from someone. Michael Jackson, who was it for him? James Brown. And we see Prince, Michael Jackson, and James Brown on stage. I would have never thought that. That's one moment in history you are never going to get ever again. So it's out here in the YouTube verse. You guys can go and check that out. But I just wanted to say that as far as artists and giving artists their flowers and pouring into them. And Dion, again, outstanding job on this project. And no, he is nothing like Ike Turner, because I'm pretty sure he's gotten a lot of flack for playing Ike Turner in this character. And we know his story. We've seen what's love got to do with it, and everything that Tina. If you've read her book,
Even,
because she wrote a book as
but
well
even
too.
beyond that, I
Yeah.
wanted to, I wanted to add that like, Ike Turner was a very troubled human.
Yes.
And it was interesting to travel around the country. I actually met people that were in his band. I met some of Tina's family members,
Yeah.
and some of the things that they had to say about Ike specifically was very shocking. Just about like how he took care of so many people, and how he, and this is not to excuse the
Yeah.
awful, deplorable things he did, right? But like, humans are very nuanced. Like, what makes a villain is their life experiences and how that shows up in their day-to-day processing, right? Like, Ike Turner is one of the things that helps me ground myself in Ike Turner was when he was younger, he watched his dad get abused by the police and beaten so poorly, so badly that his organs were outside of his body. And he had to comfort his dad in a tent for, I want to say, like a year and a half to 2 years, in his backyard, because the hospital at the time wouldn't take him because he was a black man. So imagine going through your life having witnessed your father be emasculated, humiliated, and almost murdered, uh, and then move into trying to be a good human after that. He was also like taken advantage of by some women when he was younger. So
Oh
he was
God,
sexually assaulted, and those things show up
that's
in
something.
your epigenetic trauma as you move throughout your life. So again, I'm not saying this to excuse the deplorable things that Ike did, but Ike was human just like all of us, right? And
Right.
my job, I think any actor's job is just to authentically tell that person's truth to the best of their ability. And I think I did that. And surprisingly, one of the weird things that I experienced a lot, specifically in the South, is after the show, when people would recognize me, some of the men would congratulate me or be like a little bit too proud. And I'm like, what are we talking about here? And some of the women would just like it's very interesting.
The interactions.
Yeah, but it wasn't all like oh, I hate you. I took being booed at the end of the show as like a badge of honor. Like I did my job, you know.
That they'll interact with you. I'm gonna tell you that. If you guys seen Michelle Williams and Death Becomes Her, she says the audience will interact with you if you have done
Yes.
live theater in real time, Broadway. If you've done Broadway, I, I, the stories that I've sat down with people who've done live theater in real time, people will interact with you. They will walk up to you after the show and they'll tell you what they don't like. Whoop de whoop de whoop de whoop de
Mhm.
whoop, and this, that, and the third and the other. And they'll actually believe that you're somewhat like the character, but it's just like, no, I'm no longer in character. Now I done clocked out. I done finished what I needed to do. And Naptown, yes, that was one of, listen, Prince did something funny in that performance. If you guys, y'all have to go and check it out right here on YouTube. It was James Brown, Michael Jackson, and Prince on stage. Being Prince, because you know he had a certain sound. And I'm wearing his color today, which is purple. But he would do something at in that performance on stage. He literally climbed up to, artists would love to do things to take it to the next level. And Prince climbed up to the top of like this, what was it? Like this light fixture. And he was dancing, and Michaels came and said, dance, did what he did best. And then Prince came and took it to a whole nother level. Like, you're not about to upstage me. And climbed to the top of that light fixture. Baby, when I tell you that light fixture was leaning and the audience caught him, that's how loved Prince was. He didn't care. And as a creator, as an artist, that's what freedom and liberation and creativity is all about, not caring and being able to do that. Now, shifting gears from this a little bit, let's talk about your podcast and
Mhm.
your production company, Free Black Millennials. Tell us, how did you say, okay, now it's time for me to make sure that my voice is heard, my
Mhm.
production company, image, and everything. Tell us about how this all came to be your company.
Yeah, so let me just start by saying that Free Black Millennials, the podcast, isn't a thing anymore. It hasn't been on for like, I want to say 2 years. It hasn't been active for like 2 years, but the company and the podcast was born out of me just trying to figure out what my life was going to look like in 2020 as a creative. How am I going to make money? How am I going to make art? Like, what is happening? Also, it was a direct response to my circumstances. So I was trapped in Canada. Well, I say I use trapped lightly because it was kind of a beautiful place to be stuck. But
It
I was
is.
in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, with my partner at the time. And I was surrounded by people that looked like the cops that were killing people that looked like
Wow.
me in the States, but they didn't understand my experience because I am not Canadian, right? So this was my attempt to be like, well, maybe if I give all these white people access to an experience, it will make my experience being here different because I think where I was, it was a predominantly white space, which I'm not really used to. I grew up in the military, which is really diverse, and then I'm from Philly, and
Yeah.
then I grew up in North Carolina and Fayetteville. It was like a whole thing. So like this was the first time that I was really around a bunch of white people, and the reason why I kind of got rid of the podcast is because I felt like it didn't represent me anymore. I'm not into acquiescing to the white lens or giving white people access to a perspective that they might not have otherwise. Like that's too much of a responsibility for me to take on. So I decided to like let the podcast go in that iteration and just kind of focus on my producing. Again, my goal with Free Black Millennials is to create work that educates, heals, celebrates, and uplifts people of color, Black people. And that has been my focus ever since. I've directed an all Black production of The Tempest, which was like really successful. I spoken on some panels. I collaborated with a skincare company that it no longer exists in British Columbia, Canada, called Miko Skin Co. It's a all natural organic skincare company, and I collaborated with them on making sunscreen formulas that are still natural but blend more evenly into melanated skin. So that was a really cool experience. I was able to go to Saudi Arabia and help like be a hand in the creation of a theater culture there, which is really cool. And currently, I'm directing and producing a play called "A Stained Glass Life Gets You to Heaven," written by the brilliant Junie Edwards. We had a reading late. December 15th of last year, and we're currently developing the piece. It is about a Black queer man, a young Black queer man, and a Black trans woman growing up in the church, and ultimately it is a tragedy. So they do end up dying. They go to purgatory and then ultimately end up in heaven. But it's through the lens of being in church. And that's all I'll say about that right now, because again, it's still in development. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, again, like the goal is just to create work, is to create an environment for people to do the best quality of work that they can, to tell stories that I am passionate about. And because I'm passionate about it, I would just assume that other people are as well. And to not, I feel like after 2020, everyone was like, oh, like, I just want to focus on joy. I don't want to talk about the bad things anymore. And I think that's a little bit of a disservice. So this is my attempt to root myself in something that is very serious, but provide
Yeah.
resources for the community. Like if you see this and this affects you in some way, like here's a hotline that you can call for support. Here is a place that you can call for like financial help if you're having issues. Like these are things to be mindful of when you see the show, you know? It's just a way for me to take care of my community. I want so much for my people, and this is my attempt to do so. To do so. Also, I'm a death doula, so Free Black Millennials has also turned into like a consultant company. So, like, when people have convoluted feelings about death and mortality and grief, kind of talk them through it. And the idea is to prepare yourself for the end of your life so that you can actively enjoy the present. So that when your time comes to inevitably die, you can go gracefully because you've already done the work of being present in your life.
Wow, and I was gonna ask. We've heard what an Abdullah is. You know, when a
Hmm.
woman is giving birth, whatever.
Oh, birth
But
doula, yeah.
yeah, a birth doula, but not a death Abdullah. And given where we're at right now in the world, it's just like Lord, how much more? You know, we don't know when our time is coming, and we all
Look,
ask
okay.
ourselves these questions. But I think what you're doing is healing. What you're doing is not only healing people, but you're doing it through a lens where you're also bringing joy. You're doing it in a way, on subjects that racism, all of these things that are
Hmm.
heavy. And even with me, when I do my conversations, because I know tomorrow, and we have two politically charged conversations. You guys have been seeing me. It's been very active about that. Even when I'm doing that, I have to make sure that I'm doing it in a way where it's like my audience are engaged. It's fun and it's not boring. Because think of it as, okay, you're going back to college. Deon here has went to college. I didn't go to college. I can tell you, I learned how to pick up a box of cream of nature and a hot comb. I went to beauty
I know
school.
that's
That's
right.
that was my
Yeah,
specialty.
that's
So I learned,
language.
yeah. But I said, if I'm going to do a talk show, I'm going to make sure that I'm educating people, and not only just that, but I want to make sure that people are having fun. I want to make sure that they're not bored and they're learning at the same time. It has to be hip, it has to be revolutionary, something different. And that's how
Yeah,
I
but at
came
the end
up
of the day, I think it just has to be you, right? I think because you
absolutely.
are who you are and you show up the way that you do, you already are those things, so you don't have to try so hard to be those things, you know? It's like my mentor when I was in college used to tell me all the time, like, Dion, you're trying so hard to be nice and kind and humble. You stop trying so hard and just exist, you know? Just be. You being you is enough. It is just as effective as you trying to do all these things. So instead of exhausting yourself trying to be all these things for all these people, just be you. And like the things that are meant for you are going to come. The people that are on your team that support you are going to continue to do so. So I encourage you to like continue to do what you're doing, but try not to think so much about being like good and relatable and fun, like because you are already. Just be that.
I appreciate that, my love, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying the platform. I do it in a way that, and that's just how I am. I'm a Scorpio. My mom's a Libra,
Come
so
on,
I've
water. I'm a
always
Pisces.
okay, so that's why we connect here. And we see it. We feel off of energies. We feel off of vibes. My mama,
Hmm.
she raised me. She said, you always make sure that you bring your personality into anything that you're doing. And to any up and coming creator, I would tell you to just bring your personality. I would say, be your authentic self, because authenticity is key. And I was talking with my girl. I don't know if she's still in here. Faith is the substance. I was pouring into her over the weekend, giving her her flowers. She interviewed Theo E.J. Wilson. You guys might have seen him on CNN and other places. Shout outs to him. That brother he is nothing but the truth. Y'all make sure y'all go and check
Hmm.
him. She did an interview with him over the weekend, and me and her were just chopping it up. And we were talking, and she said, I don't think I'm like, girl, bring your personality. You're doing everything that I would do, which is doing it with fun. And I was saying, girl, you did the damn thing. I was just pouring
Yes.
into her, letting her know, like, she's like, I don't even think of myself as that funny. Yes, Faith, I'm calling you out, girl. I know she can be like, don't do me. But I'm using her as an example to say this to anybody. Never second guess yourself, never doubt yourself. When she does her interviews, she brings fun. She opens up and she'll say, you know what, I had to put, she'll do something that I would probably say, which is, I had to put my bra on for this interview right here. So I love Faith. I was like, keep doing that. Keep bringing your personality.
Yeah,
Keep bringing
child.
fun. And people love that. They love the rawness. They love the real. And we can relate to that. So even me doing Style by Stevie, I try to make it, and it's not intentional at all by any means, but I try to be fun. I try to be relatable. I try to be like the girl next door meets your favorite auntie meets the funny
Hmm.
best friend. All three wrapped in one. And
Hmm.
I'm not myself then trying to please other people. I'm going to do it my way, and it's going to be
Yes.
fun, and you're going to be educated at the end of the day. So I try
Also,
not to
too.
bore people.
Also,
Yeah.
too. Like not believing in yourself. That's let that go. Do something else. You know what I mean? Just like not you specifically, but like in general, like that is a narrative that doesn't serve anybody. And I feel like it was cool in the early aughts to be like, oh my god, I don't know, like no, you are the shit,
Right.
and stand in it, and that is okay. Confidence is sexy. It's
Right.
hot.
Okay. My heart is beating fast for this next segment.
Okay.
I trust Dion. Y'all know what's coming. That'll be
Oh
later at the
yes.
end of the show, but it's getting closer to that time.
Okay.
So before we get to that time, let's get into the rapid fire. It's been a minute since we've done the rapid five here, Fashion Dolls. And this
Let's
is where my guests
go.
tell all of their things that they can't live without, their guilty pleasures. Okay, like for me, and I'll give you an example. One for me is cookies and cream ice cream. I'm a sucker for cookies
Mm.
and cream ice cream. My name is Miss Stevie, and I am addicted to cookies and cream ice cream, and I also love pepperoni pizza. So, and I do actually. So, those are just two things that I would say. But Dion has to tell me five of his guilty pleasures that he can't live without in the rapid five. So, Dion, what are your top five things that you can't live without?
Yeah, so like mine aren't necessarily like physical things, all of them, but number one on my list is humidity. I like the humidity and the heat to be so turned up so high that it feels like I'm swimming through the air. Like I want to walk in the building and I want to look like I just got out of a pool. I just feel like my skin looks better, my hair looks. I was just in Peru for 2 weeks, last week and the week before, and I have like the best tan. My skin is clear. I spent time in the sun by the ocean, and it was just like humid and delicious and lovely. So humidity is number one. There is I dated a Polynesian man once, and he introduced me to the concept of an ie, which is basically a piece of fabric that you can tie around your waist. And I do that while I'm walking around the house, while I'm cleaning. It just like it's very zen. It's giving like what's it called? Not loincloth, not um what's the thing that you wear at the beach? Sarong. It's giving that, but it's not that exactly. Anyway, just imagine like a big thin sheet that you tie around yourself for like cleaning and to just put yourself in like a zen space. So I would say an EA. An African net sponge, exfoliate, or a dry brush. I need that like bad. I need to get all the dead skin off of me. I need to exfoliate, and also I think there's something real. I'm a human of ritual. I'm not necessarily routine. So the act of getting dead skin off of me feels like a kind of baptism, a kind of
It's
shedding. It's a
therapeutic. Yeah.
very yeah, it's a very spiritual experience that I think I need. So humidity, my EA, African net sponge or a dry brush. Also headphones, like over the ear. I am a Pisces, and I'm obsessed with turtles, and I like this idea of kind of residing inside of my shell and figuring my shit out so that I can come back out into the world and effectively communicate how I'm feeling and my views and my thoughts. So I think this is a really big help. These are the Bose Quiet Comfort ones, and maybe they're not the best quality, but it's Bose, so it feels pretty high quality to me. But they're great. I love them. I can't hear the world outside. It's just me and you. So I enjoyed that. Was that four? And lastly, oh, I am a thrifty girl. I love the thrift. I love vintage, and I've been really obsessed with platform Converse recently. They are incredible and so comfortable. So you know how like you wear like the flat Converse and they're like they hurt your feet because they're just
Yes.
too flat. What I do, I don't have one next to me, but the sole is like this thick, and then on top it looks like a regular thing. So you get like a little bit of lift, and then I put my inserts, my arch supports inside, and I not only have like the lift from the platform, but I also have the support from the insert and the cushion of all of that thick sole. So it's great. Those are the things that I can't live without right now.
There you have it, fashion dolls. Everything that Dion loves. All right. You looking so good, Miss Stevie. Thank
I
you,
know that's
Deshaun.
right. Yeah. Come on,
Y'all, thank y'all,
Deshaun.
fans.
Y'all got a
Y'all
date?
love it. What were you saying?
I said y'all got a date, you and Deshaun?
No, that is my colleague.
I'm about to say stop
And
playing Deshaun.
nice.
You better
Thank
get on
y'all.
it.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Wow. Yes. If you haven't seen the pictures of today's dress, check it out on Instagram. I can't stand up because this train is long. I'd be pulling all day. So, yes.
Come on. Yeah.
All right, fashion dolls. So, my heart is beating fast. I have no clue what Dion is going to ask me. It's no longer styled by Stevie. So, I'm going to put these to the side. It is the Deon Releford-Lee show. So, Dion is going to interview me and ask me some questions, and I have no clue what he's going to ask me, but my heart is beating so fast right now. So take it away, Dion.
Okay, hey everybody, welcome to the Deon Releford-Lee show. Today we have Style by Stevie. Thank you for being here. I think my first question would be the world feels like it's going to shit right now, right? Like there's so much going on and with our country specifically. And I don't know if you like to travel a lot, but for me, going outside of the country or just going from state to state and trying to like escape this like American lens that we're under, I find it exhausting, right? It's almost embarrassing for me to admit that I am from this country sometimes just because of how complicit we are in the bombing of other nations and the atrocity that we have in office right now. So my question to you would be, as a black trans like human in the world, how is your walk? How are you? What is keeping your head up at the end of the day? And how do you continue going forward?
By encouraging others. By encouraging
Hmm.
others. You'd be surprised how many DMs I get from people, even when I'm going to behave. Deshaun,
Hmm.
I'm going to say my political commentary tomorrow. I'm going to really let loose tomorrow with Jawan, and then the other day with my colleague. Now's the time. But I'm going to say this. People have been DMing me. My DMs have been on fire from, hey, Miss Stevie, what do we do? We're scared. What's going to be the next move? You keep living and existing. And even when there's an attack on us, trans African American women, we we are still here. We are still existing. As much as you try to push us away, erase our existence, we will still be here. And I said this man made us public enemy number one. We're not the enemy. And if you guys viewed my stories this morning, I went on a full rant talking about it, saying, LGBT people, we're not your enemy. If anything, we make the world a better place. We are the ones that are
Hmm.
styling you, that are doing your makeup, that are doing
Hmm.
all of these things that
Literally your saviors.
your saviors, the culture. We are part of the culture, and you can't erase or diminish our existence in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So what I do, how I keep my sanity and grace, even though I have my own family issues and stuff going on, I write. Writing is therapeutic for me. I write down in my diary every single day. I have a bunch of diaries, a bunch of stories, and I go back and I read them sometimes.
Oh
Um,
wow.
a little retail therapy. A girl loves to look good. Um, that means getting my hair done, getting my nails done, um,
Okay.
getting my legs waxed, and other things. That helps me
Period.
take my frustrations out and say the things that I really want to say while I'm getting waxed. But uh, other than that, I would say find your safe space, find your escape. Also,
Hmm.
doing puzzles. I do puzzles in my downtime.
Hmm.
So I flip through fashion magazines, Vogue, Harper's Bazaar. So those are the things that I do that keep me sane and all of the
Hmm.
craziness
Hmm.
that's going on. I'm aware to it. I'm alert. I also address that, but I also encourage people to do self care. And
Hmm.
even for trans people, my trans sisters and brothers out here, I would say to them is make sure that you are looking out for each other as well. So we all have to be that how can I say it, that fence for each other. We have to more than ever. We have to.
Hmm.
And I think that it's important. As much as they try to erase our existence, we will always remember what history says. And that's what I would say to anybody, and how I keep so sane, because you guys ask me, and in a way it makes me feel like I'm, a leader, and I'm like, people are looking to me for the thing. And I'm like, okay, if you're going to be a leader, if you're going to lead your people to doing what's right, you have to make sure that you're using your platform wisely. And that, I thank the Lord, I'm able to do that. That I'm able to encourage people. That I'm able to keep you guys,
Wow.
motivated on what you need to do. And that's what keeps me going. If you guys message me and have a conversation with me, that's what keeps me going. Distract each other. And I have Deshaun falling out because we have a running joke. You said the monstrosity that's in the White House. I have a nickname for him. If you've seen the pictures on Instagram, y'all can go and check it out. So, sunshine.
That's amazing. It is a lot of. It sounds like you don't mind taking on the responsibility of being like a pillar, and I think especially for Black trans individuals who tend to be at the forefront of movements and stuff like that, it is. It's always those members of our community that push culture forward. But my question to you would be, even though you seem to like take that on and wear it with honor, what is the hardest part about being such a big pillar of the community all the time?
The hardest part is you're not gonna, I'm gonna say this to anybody who's like in a leader or in a position where people are looking up to you, is you're not gonna get everybody on board. You're not gonna get everybody on board. There are some people who
Mm,
just do not want to, they don't want to be liberated. You can't take everybody on the journey with you, but the ones
yeah,
that are willing to get free, and I use this reference all the time. Harriet Tubman had to leave some people behind on the plantation. Let's keep it a
yeah,
buck.
hmm,
And that's what I tell Deshaun and others all the time, is that we're going to have to leave some people on the plantation. They're stuck in their ways, they're stuck in their mindset. And that's what I've learned to realize. And I'm just
yeah,
like,
and they don't know what they want.
from afar. Right.
Yeah, they don't know what they want. It's interesting. That is a. It's funny you say that because that is a lesson I've learned myself, especially with trying to work with friends. Sometimes, I oftentimes try to take everyone with me, or I used to try to take everyone with me, and very quickly I learned, oh, I can't do that because I'm working so hard to take everybody to the promised land, and there's some motherfuckers that don't want to be there. You know what I mean? Or they'll get to the promised land and they'll mess it up because they don't even know what to do with the concept of freedom and promise. So yeah, I love that you said that. That's such beautiful insight. I guess one more fun question. Uh, who is the oldest person you know, and what do you value from them?
Wow. My grandmother, she's 82 years old. She's still alive and she just celebrated her 82nd birthday.
Let's
Um,
go.
Beautiful, full of wisdom. One thing I
Mm.
can tell you, Dion, that has stood with me even with doing this platform. She said, "You make sure you put God first in everything that you do. You don't forget who put you here." Because she's told me about humbling myself. She said, "Just as fast as you got in that position, you can lose that position. You are now a voice for people who don't have a voice." So, and she always told me to look out for your mama. Make sure. Now it's so crazy how the roles have reversed. Our mothers have birthed us. Now I'm being the damn mama. And I'm having to keep my
Yeah.
mom under control and all of this because she is a little firecracker. And we know the Libras are stubborn. Yeah, y'all call me the loose cannon and the firecracker because I'm outspoken, but I get it from her. And not only that, but I
Oh.
have four brothers and two sisters. One of my sisters, unfortunately, she's no longer here with us.
Mm.
So we each have our own personality. Joseph is not going to be like Kelvin. Stevie is not going to be like Jessica. Jessica is not going to be like Desiree. Desiree is not going to be like Robert or Christopher, my brothers and sisters. Those are their names. Everybody
Hmm.
has their own personality, their own style in doing things. But I knew out of all of the siblings, I would say I was the most daring. I wanted to take the most risks. I wanted to be different. And there's nothing wrong with being the black sheep or being an outcast. It means that it's something unique. It's something different
Mm.
about you. It's something that you have, which is a gift that other people just can't put their fingers on. They just can't figure out, like, And even with me and hosting this platform, people are just like, what is the mystery with her? What is people, why do people tune into her every day? Monday through Friday to watch her. What is it? It's
I
something
mean, look at the
alluring. They just,
material.
yes, they can't put their fingers on it. And a girlfriend of mine, she asked me, she said, "Girl, what are you doing on that show?" I said, I don't even know. I'm not doing anything but just being myself, my personality. And and she still, I was like, I can't even figure it out. To be honest, I can't figure it out. What I think it is that People want something different. They're tired of seeing the same status quo, and I have a look that is not like other talk show hosts. That's for
Mm-hmm.
doggone sure. And I think it's the style aspect. I think people tune in to see what it is that I'm wearing. You know, who I'm having on, their insight as well. So I think it's a number of things why people watch me. I still cannot answer that question. I don't know.
Mm.
Honestly, y'all, I'm telling you, I I try to. I would say this: dare to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Dare to be different because it can take you a long way. Do not be like the others in the room while everybody else is in the room wearing yellow. No, I'm going to show up in blue. I'm going to do something different. Dare to be different. And that's what I would say. So, it'll take
That's
you a long way.
amazing.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me ask you a few questions.
Yes. Because my last week, Rico Cassadine tried to get all up in my business. That's why I was nervous. I'm like, okay, how
Oh,
far are you going to go with this, Dion? Because he was like, okay, I was like thinking, who you dating all of this? Yes, I'm on the market. I'm available. I'm not dating anyone. But
no, that's
I was
fair.
like, how far are you going to go? Yes, yes. But yes, yes, yes. So today's show was centered solely around authenticity and living out loud, being bold, being your authentic self. So before we close, and you guys know my colleague Conscious TV is on, so y'all make sure y'all go and subscribe to Conscious. He is live right now currently, so I'll be swinging through there. But my last question for you: what's next in the chapter of your life? Because I want to be a part of that chapter. I'm going to bring you back on
Mm-hmm.
my show. We're definitely going to set something up. This was so much fun. But
Yeah.
what's next for you in your chapter, Dion?
That is so interesting. It's so like funny when people ask me that because especially specifically as an actor, I don't you don't always know. You audition, you put yourself out there for new opportunities and you get rejected constantly. So in terms of like we talked a lot about my career and my acting. So in terms of that, I'm not sure. Something that people can look forward to is I'm going to be playing Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors again, which is really really cool. Yeah, I love that. I love that I get to play a character like that, especially after being seen as a villain and an abuser for so long. Because I feel like once casting gets something stuck in their head, like they only see you as that. So I think I'm just artistically, I'm looking for opportunities to just like stretch and to show the full range of the things that I can do. Um, what's next for me is being more open and more vocal about my work in the death space. I'm a fairly new death doula. I took all of last year to sit with my own convoluted feelings about death so that when
Yeah,
I work with clients, I'm not bringing my death to theirs because it's not about me. Right. But I think naturally, when you are talking about grief, death, and dying, your own neuroses come up and your own feelings surrounding death, grief, and dying come up. And so I'm looking forward to this year just being more vocal about it and actualizing the things that I dream about. I think I've been really blessed to do a plethora of things and of uh, accolades and like jobs and really cool shit that I get to do, but I haven't really I feel like I haven't really scratched the surface of the things that I actually dream about. And I just got a new I'm under new management now, so like I'm open and receptive to what the rest of this year has in store for me. I'm looking forward to stained glass, building like a community around it, specifically in the trans community, so I can really take care of my brothers and sisters as best as I can and advocate for them. I'm looking forward to creating spaces for people to do their work and just getting more eyes um, on the work so that we can advance it further. I'm wide open and traveling. Like I said, I was just in Peru for the past 2 weeks, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of the world because there's a lot of it out there. So I think in closing, that's what's next for me. I'm just like this. We'll see what happens.
it's more coming. It is more
Yeah,
coming, and I'm so
I have
proud of
faith.
you.
I have faith.
Yeah, it is coming. It's coming. You put
Mm-hmm.
it out there in the universe, it's gonna come back to you full circle. So
One
I'm a
thousand
firm
percent.
believer of the power of manifestation. It's gonna happen. It's
Mm-hmm.
more that is gonna come.
Look, I didn't show y'all,
And
but me too.
more, more and more and more. And I do vision boards. So
Uh-huh.
one of the words that I put on my vision board is more. And abundantly for each and every one of us. I'm putting that energy out there for each and every one of us that it is going to come. I set myself a goal and I met that goal 1,000 interviews, over 1,000 and counting, more and
Let's
more to come.
go.
And I was having a conversation with my mother. I'm like, God, I cannot believe this is true. This is real. This is so real. I have been sitting with so many people and doing it consecutively, and no sick days, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. No sick days at all.
But
And I
also,
want to
like,
keep it
take a
that way.
breath.
Yes, it's been stressful, it's been strenuous, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful, truly, truly thankful. So,
Oh, well, we are proud of you
what
too. Thank you so much for having me.
so welcome. And before we wrap, Fashion Dolls, today's final thought ties into today's show topic, which is authenticity and living out loud and living boldly. Authenticity requires vulnerability, transparency, and integrity. And you have to have courage. You have to be bold to do it. We didn't get this overnight. A lot of people were
Mm-hmm.
saying, I was just born confident, and that may be the case for some people, but for some people, it's like stepping into it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and especially for both of us growing up in the Carolinas, where it's just like being your authentic self is sort of watered down. You have to tone yourself down, and
Mm-hmm.
not anymore. We're now confident, we're now bold, we're
Yeah,
now
that's old. Yeah, we're
yeah.
doing other things now.
Absolutely. And shout outs to you, Spoken Words. You missed a great show today, my love. And you guys can
Mm-hmm.
catch the replay from beginning to end. And I'm going to bring Dion back on the show. We're going to discuss some things and get him back on so that we can get another good conversation. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Now, tomorrow, well, we're going to dive into all things political, the current state of the world and affairs with Jawan Caulfield tomorrow, another North Carolina native. So
Let's go.
make sure you guys tune in for that tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you have your notifications set and reminders on. You guys can tap that bell and subscribe here on YouTube and hit all so you'll be notified when Style by Stevie Daytime goes live. And I will see you guys tomorrow, Fashion Dolls. But before I go, Dion, any gems that you would give to anyone just on being authentic, living out loud, and being bold, what would you tell them?
Yeah, stop trying so hard to be humble. Stop trying so hard to be
Yes.
nice. Stop trying so hard to be and just exist. I think, especially in today's climate, it is so stressful. There's so many things that we have to worry about. You being a good person, especially if you were raised correctly, especially if you have a strong community around you, is work that you don't have to do because you already are. So stop trying so hard to be a good person and just be. You're already good enough. You being is good enough. Just be.
Absolutely. And I want you all to remember that, Fashion Dolls. Oh my God. Yeah. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all are loving the look of the day. Thank you. Thank you. Purple is it. But stay tuned. More fashions coming this week here on Style by Stevie. Stay tuned. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. And Dion, let everyone know where they can follow you at to my love.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Deon's Bohemia, Deons Bohemia, Bohemia. And if you want to reach me artistically, I have an actor CV at actorcv.com/Deon Releford-Lee. You can contact my manager there, find more information like my reels, and inquire about working opportunities and collaborations. And if you are interested in contacting me for some grief counseling, some death doula work, or just to chat about like the end of your life and maybe convoluted feelings you may have about that, I would say email me at Deon.Releford-Lee@gmail.com, or just shoot me a DM on Instagram at Deon's Bohemia.
There you have it, fashion dolls, ladies and gentlemen. Deon Releford Lee. And I will see y'all tomorrow at 4 with Jawan Cofield. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Take care, my love.